Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. Now in today's video, guys, I am going to be doing the ranking for all of the Despicable Me and Minions movies, but first, of course, I do have a couple of announcements to make. Just before this ranking is uploaded, I should have the review for Minions Rise of Gru out, so if you want to go check that out, go check that out. I should have that out by now. And, yeah, this is going to be the ranking, and for upcoming content, I'm going to be doing round 6 of the horror slasher killer matchups. And if you're not subscribed to Ars Political yet and you're interested in politics, go subscribe. I'm trying to build the channel, and there's going to be more content coming soon. I made my first official commentary video just yesterday. Go check that out if you're interested in it. Other than that, read the community post to stay up to date and join the Discord. Link is in the About section. Other than that, let's quickly get on to this ranking. This should not be too long of a ranking. So I guess one quick thing before I get on to the ranking, I wanted to show a couple of the promotional items since, you know, why the hell not? This is the ranking. So I got two of the Minions Rise of Gru cups with the toppers. I didn't take off the packaging yet. I'm still deciding what to do with that. But I got the Bob one, and I also got the Kevin one. And one of these I am going to be handing out to a good friend of mine. And the funny thing is, I'll show you the tin as well. The funny thing is, the cups were actually more expensive than the tin. The tin was only $3, and the cups were much more expensive. I think they were like $8. I work at a movie theater, so I was easily able to grab these. Yeah, those are the promotional items. eBay sellers are going to be going really, really crazy, especially with selling the tin, considering how cheap that was. But I tried to fit the theme as best as I could, so I wore this orange shirt, although I don't have any yellow shirts, unfortunately. But I think that's all I had to get out of the way there. Like I said, I'm going to be handing out one of those cups to a good friend of mine, and at least all of the promotional items at my theater are already sold out. So, anyways, getting this ranking started in 5th place, we don't have a lot to do. I'm going to be doing Despicable Me 3. This is personally the one that I enjoyed the least. There are quite a few on this list that just don't have a very sophisticated plot. This is one of them, but the reason why it goes at the bottom is because the plot wasn't very sophisticated, but also it wasn't even that enjoyable. I think the villain was the boringest of the villains that we've gotten out of the entire series, you know, the whole plot of bringing in Gru's brother, I forget what his name, I think it's like Stu or something. It's like he has an evil twin brother in this movie that gets introduced. I think that didn't even land as well. I believe this is the second lowest rated Minions movie. So yeah, Despicable Me 3 for me, it wasn't enjoyable, or it didn't have a very good plot, nor was it enjoyable. So for me, I think it's the only one that has both of them, so it instantly, for me, goes at the 5th spot. Next up is Minions Rise of Gru, and if you watch my review for this, I think this one partially, the only reason it gets a spot above Despicable Me 3 is because I did enjoy this movie. Thoroughly enjoyed this movie from beginning to end, and I was actually pretty excited for this movie, more excited than I was for Despicable Me 3, because I wanted to see what they were going to do with Gru's character after the first Minions prequel, but I just don't think they landed it, you know, I don't think they nailed it in the coffin well enough. There were a few things that I liked about the plot. I think they did the side plot pretty well, but they did get sidetracked quite a bit, and it just didn't feel like they fully lived up to the name Rise of Gru. I don't think we got enough of the actual development of Gru before he became this evil guy with all of these henchmen and everything like that. It feels like they focused on the Minions too much because they didn't trust themselves without the Minions being on the screen 24/7, so they just couldn't help but keep the Minions on the screen the entire screen time instead of just focusing on Gru. So, yeah, I really wish this movie just trusted themselves, focused on Gru's development, and I think I would have still enjoyed this movie otherwise. So Minions Rise of Gru goes on the 4th spot. 3rd spot for me is Despicable Me 2, and this is the one that I've watched the most out of all of the other movies, just because it was always on at my daycare. So I think the only reason why I'm a little bit, how do you want to say it? unfavorable towards this is because this movie just kind of got stale to me after watching it so many goddamn times. But other than that, Despicable Me 2, I bet if I rewatched it years after, it's been many, many years since I've watched any of these movies, but I bet if I watched it again, I would enjoy it. I really like the kind of Gremlins, the Gremlins plot that they went, or how do you want to say it? They kind of copied off of Gremlins in this movie, where they were injecting this serum in the minions that made them go evil and everything like that. I kind of like that idea. It wasn't I don't think it was a direct copy off, but it seems derivative of kind of the Gremlins plot. But I think it worked really well for this movie. In fact, I think the purple minions in this movie worked better than the actual villain that they were trying to defeat. So it worked as a pretty good advertisement as well for the movie. I also like the evil female sidekick that's working with Gru in this movie. I think she did a really good job in this movie as well. So overall, one of the better plots in terms of the antagonist and everything like that, and overall Despicable Me 2, pretty enjoyable. Just, I think I'm a little bit unfavorable towards it just because it got stale for me, because this is the one that I've watched the most. But other than that, a very solid sequel to the first one. No other complaints. Number 2, and I know this is going to be very unpopular, is Minions. This is the one, I just really think that this movie is underrated. I know this is the lowest rated out of all of the Minions and Despicable Me movies, but for me, I think this movie is really, really underrated. It goes for a much different formula from the Despicable Me movies, obviously being a prequel. And I really like this new formula. I like the cute little narration that we get from I really like the narrator in this movie. I think he does a really, really nice job. He adds to some of the humor in this movie. And I like how the first about 5 to 10 minutes of this movie, we kind of get a history of how the Minions got to where they were. They're going from ancient Egypt to the Revolutionary War and World War II and all. They're just, it just shows how long they've been around. The dinosaur age and all that. I think that was a really, really cool just first 5 to 10 minutes. And then everything from then on, I really enjoyed as well. I like how the majority of this movie takes place in London, and they're tied with their actual first official partner. It wasn't Gru. It was this Scarlet Bandit, and I really, really did like it. And I like how she, the twist is that she eventually turns against them, and then they end up having to defeat her. And by the end of the movie, that's where Gru gets introduced, and that's how they set up the Rise of Gru movie. I really do like the setting. I like I like the introduction to it. I like the narrator. I think the humor is actually the best out of all of the other Despicable Me movies, just because the narration adds so much to it. When you see this awkward, quiet scene that you don't expect to be funny, and then the narrator says something that points out something funny, and it just instantly makes you laugh. I really like it. I think the narration added a whole lot to it. So I really do think that this Minions movie is very underrated. I know some people don't like it because it has a different formula, but I really do think that this first Minions movie is underrated. And I used to watch this movie all the time when I was littler. Really, really did enjoy it. So overall, Minions gets the number 2 spot. This shouldn't come as too much of a surprise that number 1 is going to be the first Despicable Me movie. This one is just an absolute classic. Who would have thought that these little yellow creatures and now it's been over a decade since the first Despicable Me movie came out, but who would have thought that these little yellow creatures would be a cute and entertaining thing for not only little kids, but also adults that find it very cute and funny. These little creatures that speak multiple different, a combination of multiple different languages. And even though nothing that what they're saying makes any sense, you're still laughing because it's so stupid but yet so funny. There's also a lot of scenes in this movie that are just iconic. Obviously the freeze break movie, or the freeze break scene where he's using the gun to freeze all the people in the ice cream shop so he can get the ice cream. Really, really amazing scene. Also, you have the evil spider cookies. Really cool. I think this movie had one of the best villains. He wasn't a super powerful villain or anything like that. I think the Scarlet Bandit ended up being one of the most powerful villains in the series. But he was a really, really great villain. I think he was one of the best ones. Also, you have the 3 orphans that Gru eventually adopts. I think they add to the story as well. So overall, all these little details and all these little these iconic scenes that you remember from this first movie that they try to redo in the later installments, they are really, really great. Yeah, Despicable Me shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. It definitely goes at the #1 spot. That is it for the quick ranking. I told you it would be a really, really quick ranking. Not a whole lot of thought that needs to go into the Minions movies, as you guys know. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know that is going to be quite the service for some of you Minions fans out there. Yeah, stay tuned for round 6 of the Horror Slasher Killer matchups. Subscribe to Ars Political if you have not yet and you are interested in politics. I'm going to be uploading more commentary content soon. I uploaded my first official commentary video, so go check that out if you are interested. And other than that, read the community post to stay up to date and join the Discord. The link is in the About section. Other than that, like and subscribe, guys, and I will see you in the next video.